Chesapeake Bay by John L. French. Syn spent 3 days waiting, 3 days of sending Cecile, Byrne has sent me, or thoughts to that effect. It wasn't a hard wait. The weather was warm. There was a breeze. He had enough food and drink and books. In addition, there was a cafe within a few miles' walk if he wanted something hot. It was a relaxing wait, and it wasn't until the third day that Syn realized how much he had needed to get away from the city. The first night he thought about the problem at hand. A phone call to Ox told him that the military was still debating what to do about the problem. Some doubted the film. Others embraced it. Some of the believers saw only a threat. Others saw an opportunity, a potential new weapon. One of them called her a living torpedo, Ox had told him. Kill or capture. Syn knew that would be the debate. He couldn't imagine that there were nets strong enough or big enough. Maybe stun her and tow her, like that ape in the movie. It would probably work out just as well, Syn thought. They're gonna kill her, unless Ox knows about me and suspects my connection to the Snallygasters. To save her, to secure the weapon, would he serve me up? Try to turn me Judas? Syn didn't think so. He trusted Ox, only Syn had had to kill the last man he trusted. He chased these thoughts with amber liquid and settled in, only to have to chase them away again the following night. On the third night, he thought about leaving Baltimore and finding someplace smaller to work. It was a nice dream, but Syn knew that the kind of work he did, the kind he was good at, needed places like Baltimore. Plus, there was a woman in Fells Point, Kara. She knew him, knew most of what he did. That's how they met. They knew each other well enough for her to ask about the circular marks that covered his body. He said something about the war. He did not tell her about his cousins. It was serious between them. Looking out over the Chesapeake Bay, Syn started thinking about a ring and a house and maybe a kid or two. It was that kind of night, the cool of the evening, the quiet lapping of the water, that led to thoughts like that. He was trying to think of who he could ask in the Baltimore police to get his old job back, or maybe try for the Harbor City PD when, "Man? Uncle of Bryn?" It was an insistent yet gentle voice, not at all like his cousin's. Theirs were direct, horns and drums. This was violins and flutes. "Yes, I am called Syn." "You are Syn. You are called Scarecrow." This frightened him a little. She read deeper than the Snallies. "You are alone." Not a question. She knew he was. He had not yet started a fire. He turned down his kerosene lantern so that the only light was that of the moon. What was it that he had read in his great-grandmother's journal? When the moon shines, the great beasts come out. By the light of the moon do they appear. The water churned. Waves splashed against the shore. 20 feet out, something appeared. For a moment, Syn thought a pony had strayed too far from Massateague Island. Then he realized it was the head of the serpent. Her body followed. 20 feet of it, that is. Moonlight reflected off her flat eyes as they looked at him, her mind probing his, a goddess deciding if he was worthy of her approach. She was the Leviathan, and if he were more of a religious man, he would have either run in terror or knelt in worship. Instead, he simply stood in awe. Theodore Syn had been embraced by Snallygasters and attacked by Dwayyo. He had rejoiced with one and killed the other. He thought he had seen it all. But he had not seen the great serpent.